Because Next Radio uses the FM tuner already built into your smartphone, it saves on data and battery usage. When compared to streaming audio, Next Radio uses less than 1/10 of your data, and your battery will last 3 times longer. Next Radio, it's FM radio on your smartphone.
Introducing a radio inside your cell phone. Listen to all kinds of local radio stations, including KCAA 106.5 Yucaipa and 102.3 Riverside on Next Radio. Download the free Next Radio app today. 100% free, 100% fun, 0% buffering. Stop the buffer and listen to KCAA.
Are you ready to get balanced with Dr. Marissa? Tune in every Thursday at 7 to KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, FM 102.3, and streaming on kcaaradio.com.
Hey, this is Todd from the Flip Flop Investor Show. Join us every Thursday at 4 p.m. Get your back up off the wall and start making investments in real estate like you've always wanted to do. Tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. and we'll talk about investing in real estate here in the Inland Empire and beyond. We'll have special guests from newbies to seasoned veterans who will share their secrets for their success in real estate. Before you spend your life savings on a real estate seminar, be sure to come check out the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club on the 4th Wednesday of every month at the Mission Inn in Riverside. The show's at 4 on Thursdays and the club is on the 4th Wednesday. See you right here this Thursday at 4 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
How you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up off the wall. Tell me.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone, to Smart Health Talk radio show. And all those of you out there listening and tuning in for the first time, or maybe, you know, did we have sound in the beginning?
Yeah, you did. I'm just
we're adjusting it. Okay, that's our engineer, everyone, Brandon McCormick, and he's always very, very good to have around, and really appreciate all his efforts because he helps us with our guests. And did you find any of those videos that I was talking about?
Yeah, there was 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 that are our new videos that we just uploaded to our YouTube channel, everyone. If you just go to Smart Health Talk on YouTube and search for us, Elaine McFadden, as well, you should be able to find it. And please subscribe. Really, really important to subscribe. So I hope you'll find us and subscribe. Yeah. And what were you going to say, Brandon?
Your URL on YouTube is youtube.com/smarthealthtalk.
Oh, see, when you have like young, tech expertise in the house, you get information like that, and we really appreciate it. I had not have really even thought of that, Brandon, so really helped me out there. And okay, well, we have a couple of new videos that we uploaded, and I want you to hear them because you'll see what we're talking about when we're saying Smart Health Talk is the place to be. And oh gosh, I really want to get here. I'm going to go find something else for Brandon that I didn't get to him just yet. And so I'm going to forward that on to you. I don't know if you can download it or not, but it's about our plant sale for one thing. And then we also have a new promo for the show. Yay. Woohoo. And so it's like a long time in the making. It's kind of like, you really have to think about, what are we as a show? And I feel like we're so many different things, it was hard to put it into even a short paragraph because I had to really define who we are. And I found that a little bit difficult, but okay, I'm looking at, I had that one at 123. I did send one to you. I'm hoping that you can use that link right there and download it, and maybe we can share that as part of the show, because it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, because we got like some things going on with this plant sale, which I'm pretty excited about, because I went shopping and trying to find the kind of plants that I was looking for to put in my yard so that I could help the bees and the butterflies. I mean, that ended up being quite a difficult task. And those of you that shop at home improvement stores, nurseries, especially the home improvement stores, I know they've started putting some tags on their plants that say, oh, this plant was sprayed with neonicotinoids, and you're probably like, okay, like, what is that? It's like some sort of foreign language to me. I really don't even know what neonicotinoids are. Well, they're kind of what they sound like. If it sounds like nicotine and you're thinking, oh, cigarettes, tobacco, you're kind of right, because they can synthesize the active ingredients. They can like narrow stuff down and they go, we'll pick that one. And then they can synthesize that. And so, breaking news, everyone. There's some new study that just came out about those vape pens. People use them for a number of reasons. Have you known anyone that used a vape pen, Brandon?
No, but I know they're really popular with people my age.
Okay. And he's in the early 20s. And you guys are, what's your group called, Brandon?
I think we're still defined as millennials.
Okay, the millennials. Okay, so I just wonder what society has tagged you as. That's what they're defining you, the millennials. Okay, well, yeah, so that's, the vape pens. What got me is there was a big CNBC study where they went around to a bunch of marijuana dispensaries and tested them for pesticides. And who do you think won that contest for the highest amount of pesticides in the product?
Does Marlboro sell vape pens? Is it a cigarette company?
No, it was for marijuana, but it was it was a category within marijuana that was the highest rated.
Oh, is it the vape pens? I feel like you're leading.
Well, yeah, exactly. And because they're like an oil, right? It's for these products where they have this super concentrated oil. It was at like 60,000 parts per billion. 60,000. And like the government limit is supposed to be 1, and it was at 60,000, okay? And that's because, when you spray these, whether it's a crop that you eat, like fruit, which you make juice out of, which is a concentrated product, because it takes like 3, maybe 4 oranges to make probably a 16-ounce glass of orange juice. And so you're concentrating, you're drinking that down in one shot. Well, that's all the pesticides in those 4 oranges are in that juice. People think that you can wash the pesticides off. No, excuse me, no, you can't, because they go inside of every cell of the plant. They just go, we're only going to target the outside skin. We're not going to go inside. No, just the outside. No, this doesn't happen in real life, okay? It's like there is no washing it off. It's in there. When you concentrate a product like juice, and if you tune in to Smart Health Talk and watch our video on KCAA, which will go up later, on our other channels on KCAA, but also YouTube, and that's what I was saying. Please subscribe to Smart Health Talk. And we have a Just Tart Cherry Juice here. Now, I have a group of products because, hey, the flu, big time problem. I'm not on the gotta have a flu vaccine wagon. I've heard, negative things. And actually, this is the route that I go when it comes to taking on this flu. And, we've heard people are dying from it. You have to have a strong immune system if you're going to win these fights. And whether it's the flu or something else you're up against that is like attacking your body, you got to be prepared. Man, I want soldiers. I want like legions and legions of soldiers with backup and just ready to go, okay? And that way, if something tries to invade my body and take over and make me sick, I got plenty of warriors there ready to fight and take that whatever virus, bacteria on, and I'm going to win that war. That's right. And I want the least amount of symptoms, and I want to get well as quickly as I can. Those are all my goals. And, you've heard. I mean, I'm a registered dietitian, and we're talking here about staying healthy, keeping our family healthy, keeping ourselves healthy, keeping our communities healthy, keeping our country strong. We've been talking about putting your body first when it comes to how you're spending your money, not be thinking, oh yeah, well, I can't afford that extra 50 cents for that organic version. When you're getting no pesticides in there, and that could be a product that has multiple pesticides. So what a bargain. Hey, 50 cents for no poison? Man, I'll pay that up any day of the week. I'll do without something else. Because I'm sorry, this body right here, number one. That's right. Nothing but the best. And I may not have the best in other areas of my life, but just the fact that I'm healthy, I'm still around, and ready to take on another day here in a hopefully healthy state. That to me is an accomplishment right there. It's yeah. Woohoo! Still kicking, still ready to go, still ready to do this show. Yeah. And we're talking about the truth, the real stuff, the real news, the real facts, real science, all those things that we all should be looking for. And we had an economic specialist on our show, talking about how we're making decisions that don't even make financial sense when we step back and we look at the big picture and we put it all in there. And I tell you what, I can't even tell you all the articles I read just in the past week. And what it's done is reinforced to me more than ever just how toxic these pesticides are. Now, if you live in the Loma Linda area, and I don't know how you're doing. I don't know if you're feeling great, you have no problems, you've had issues that maybe you couldn't quite explain. But we did some research. We're going to be posting much more of this information on our BlueMonarchProject.com website. And that is an extension of our show. It's like when you talk to some of the top pesticides and the top pesticide scientists in the country, our top, advocates out there, organizations that have been around against pesticides since the 70s, organizations that are nothing but a bunch of lawyers ready to, say, to heck with the money, man. I'm going to do something about making this world a better place. I tell you, those people are my heroes. They care more about our environment, the future of our children, what these corporations are doing. And, what I've learned from them is, there's always going to be some sort of political factor because of decisions that are being made. And when you look at these organizations like the Center for Biological Diversity, which is a bunch of lawyers, and they're going to decide what they're what is the most important thing that they fight against, like these chlorpyrifos pesticides that destroy our children's brain. And within the first few hours, like in office, President Trump was signing an executive order and handing the pen to Dow CEO. Here, go ahead, spray that chlorpyrifos wherever the heck you want. All these things were, these kind of things, these kind of policy decisions that put Americans, because like I said, we're about Americans first. That's what our show is about. Not America first. And, I did a lot of thinking on this, and what I think is going on in our president's brain is that he has different definitions of things than we do. And when it comes to America first, his definition is the 1%, because he's thinking in his mind, if I'm going to put America first, then I have to figure out how to make the 1% more productive because they're the ones that are making the jobs. And people believe this. They really do. So they're okay with Trump defining America first as focusing on the top 1% and how can I make them create more jobs. And this is actually not smart thinking from all the research that we've done. And when you go and look at where are the jobs coming from, they're coming from the new companies that are being created that grow really, really quickly because they're onto something. They got it right. They're growing like by leaps and bounds in a couple of years. Those are the businesses that create the most jobs, and they create them the fastest with the least amount of total net worth of the company compared to how many jobs they're actually creating. So you can see how dangerous it is to be thinking this scenario that, it's those big corporations, it's those rich folks that are making the jobs, that are pumping those jobs out. No, they have jobs. They have jobs that have been around for maybe 20, 40 years, because if you look at the growth of a company, it usually goes in, like the bell curve, where you have a company that starts off slow, they're just beginning, but then there's that growth, and then there's the leveling off, and then there's the downhill. And so we, with the new companies, you've got that, the upside of it, where there's lots of different jobs created. So in other words, what I'm saying is small business is where it's at. That's right. Giving a chance for these new creative minds to give them a chance to create a business. But what are we doing? We're making it as hard as possible. We're not taking all that tax break and making some sort of a fund for microloans or small business loans to really help young people just getting out of college. The ones with all those bright ideas, why are we not helping them? No. Instead, we're kicking them to the curb and sending them back over to the McDonald's to go work with their master's degree, because there are not jobs in their category, but there are jobs out there. And we have to start matching what those jobs are with the workforce. And that can mean retraining. And I am a huge believer in retraining. Our junior colleges are friggin' gold mine for training. Our anyone. It doesn't matter how old you are. You know what? This whole idea of, oh, I'm going to have one career my whole life, and I'm going to wait for my pension, forget it. That one, along with all these factory jobs and coal and all this other stuff, it does not exist anymore. That is not our future. That is not where the growth is going. We need new stuff. You know, okay, Trump got out-Trumped on the whole solar panel thing because he tried to put a tariff on the Chinese panels, and they just said, you think that's going to hurt us? We're just going to go build a factory right in the United States. And guess what? It'll be USA made. We don't have to pay a tariff. Pretty smart, huh? That was really hard to go around, just like the whole wall. You know, people think, oh, that wall, it's turning our country into a prison, for one thing, you know, and it's like actually, you know, locking out the rest of the world. I mean, what progressive countries that we have a lot of respect for are building walls against, you think they don't have trouble with immigration? I tell you, Germany and a bunch of these other countries took in way more refugees than the United States. Is that what you heard too, Brandon?
Oh, Germany took in a lot. So did Canada.
Yes. Yes, they really did compared to the United States.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and there's other people out there that have, you know, people on the other side of their border a lot scarier than Mexico. Like, how about North Korea? Okay, we can all agree that's a scary one to have on the other side of your border, right? But, you know, I mean, really, I think we could be like super good friends with Mexico. I love going to Mexico. At least I used to before, like, they were kidnapping people. I'm a little bit more scared about going there now, and that's really too bad. And we have to think, how much are we enabling this whole system? How much are we enabling the cartels bringing drugs over the border? Oh, they're bringing pot over the border. I mean, do we really like go, oh, wow, that's like terrible. They're bringing over like 20 pounds of pot when people are growing this in their garage legally for medicinal reasons. I mean, I think we're starting to have a different conception. Now, when it comes to the heavy duty, you know, cocaine, methamphetamine, yeah, these are bad drugs. But really, the majority of the people are not doing that. And if we go spending money, I mean, we really have to look at how we're spending money. Like our economist said, you know, we increased our yields with atrazine for corn 4.4%, which is nothing. And we spend all this money and we poison to all these people where it literally can change. When you saturate a fetus that's a male with a bunch of estrogen, stuff happens, okay? And that's pretty much what atrazine does. And then with girls, it causes breast cancer early in life. But that's okay. The atrazine maker Syngenta has a breast cancer drug to help you with that. But maybe just preventing that exposure to atrazine and the high estrogen and preventing the whole thing altogether. Maybe that's a good way to go. You know, we have these choices. We don't have to use atrazine. Is banned in Europe. Why are we using it in the United States? Are we somehow smarter than the EU? Is that it? Or do we just have a government that's more easily influenced by big corporations? Because that makes us look weak, everyone. When we're over here poisoning our people, making us sick, how is that making America great? Now, I don't know if those of you have been to my website, smarthealthtalk.com. We also have bluemonarchproject.com, and we have some announcements with that, so please stick around. Those of you that love butterflies and bees and beautiful flowers, that kind of thing, because we have some big announcements there. You know, making these decisions about billions of dollars of taxpayer money when we have no proof, no science. And we did play a video that we have on one of our playlists, but it had a Princeton University professor that actually has done the research, and they say, no, the wall does not help. 40% of the people are coming on a plane with a visa and overstaying. It used to be no problem when people could go back and forth, but when you make it hard for people to go back and forth, a wall keeps them in instead of letting them go out and go back and live in Mexico and have a house over there and maybe come and work here or do business here. We're making it hard. So the thing is, we can rethink these things, and that's one of the purposes of our show, is we're learning all of these things together. We are going to problem solve together. We are going to figure this out. Now let's take the wall. Let's learn a couple of things here. You got those videos ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to learn a couple of things from the National Butterfly Center. They are right down there along the Rio Grande in Santa Fe, that tip, the very most tip of Texas. And there are they have 5 acres there. They have some of the last habitat that matches everything that Texas is all about. And they have 300 different kinds of butterflies, all different kinds of endangered species, migratory birds, and on, that use this land. And guess what's supposed to come right through there? They already found bulldozers on their property in November without any notice to them. People already cutting down trees with, when did we approve the wall? Is what I want to know. So she brought up a couple of other points that we have not been thinking about. So we can just go ahead. Well, let's play one, and then we'll see. I'll see what that one is, and then we'll go to the next one. So go ahead, Brandon. Let's hear what Mariana.
Over 500 bird species in South Texas. So ecotourism is one of the 3 pillars of our economy in this area that is really terribly impoverished. And when all of these destinations like Santa Ana, which is in January, they're gonna celebrate their 75th anniversary. When Santa Ana is closed or no longer accessible to the public, and Benson State Park, which is the headquarters of the World Birding Centers, is closed or no longer accessible to the public, and perhaps the same for the National Butterfly Center, what will happen to our ecotourism? We assume that will just dry up and die too, and that's about $450 million a year to our local economy, and those are dollars that come here from out of the region and largely from out of the state. And there's no plan by anybody here to replace that money in our economy.
$450 million in ecotourism that's going to be lost just to Texas because of the wall. And that's because people will not have accessibility to a World Migratory Bird Center or the National Butterfly Center. And the precious, delicate land that is supposed to be protected is all going to be up for grabs by the government to build a wall and turn our country into a prison. So do you have the other one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now listen to what else she had to tell us. This is Mariana. Do you have endangered species in this area that they were clearing?
We do. We have endangered and protected species of a variety of types: birds, reptiles.
Where they had the bulldozers.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the other things people need to know about the border wall project is the government gave themselves the authority to exempt the government from 37 different laws in order to do the border wall. So when you're talking about clean air, clean water, endangered species, the Real ID Act of 2005, the government passed, our Congress passed, to exempt our government from 37 laws, including the Environmental Protection Act, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, all of the laws protecting native lands for indigenous peoples, historic landmarks, religious sites, archaeological digs, the International Migratory Bird Treaty. All of these things do not apply. They just get to ignore them when it comes to building the border wall.
Wow. This is what the government likes to do. They like to exempt themselves from all of the rules that we have fought so hard to get past, because we know that this is how we preserve our waterways, our health. But not just that, it saves us all kinds of money in cleanup. I mean, and then what some of these companies, what kind of like exemptions and passes and like financial help that they're getting. Duke Energy, this potash, which is from these energy plants, it's like what's left over after they burn the coal and everything. It is one of the most toxic substances, and they would have containment ponds that were just like, thousands and like 1 million gallons. And what they are supposed to do is send that to a toxic waste disposal, but they don't. No. Just like, and the way the whole thing was done, it's comical in a way, but if it wasn't so sad. But they went and like set up a little pump that like went into their containment pond. Well, that containment pond was built right above the river. The river where all kinds of things live and people have their homes along and they go have recreational activities in. They were pumping that toxic potash wastewater directly into the river. Duke Energy. And yet our government has like given them slap on the hands, and they just asked for a bunch of help because, we're not making the money that we were making before. Boo-hoo. Guess what? You know that bell curve we were talking about? You're on the downslope, Duke Energy. That's right. You're going away. Bye-bye. We don't need you and your friggin' potash that you're pumping into the river and polluting us anymore. This is the kind of thing these people do. And that's why we have to stand up to it. But we can start in our own backyard. And that's why if you go to bluemonarchproject.com, that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to keep on adding on to that, because if you go to that website, bluemonarchproject.com, and then you look under problem, and you'll see local pesticide use. And those of you that have children that go to Loma Linda Academy, and we have small children through, I think they have all grades there, including the staff. They are spraying some of the most toxic pesticides that you could possibly spray right there all around that school. And I don't live too far from there. That stuff can drift for miles, and there's no doubt it is drifting over onto my house. Don't appreciate it, Loma Linda Academy, nor do I appreciate what Loma Linda University Medical Center is spraying all around the hospital. They are supposed to be about wellness and healing, and yet they are also using some of the worst of the worst. They are spraying Roundup all over the friggin' place, and I actually went to the person in charge of all the landscaping 2 years ago after the World Health Organization declared Roundup cancer-causing. I found out, are you using Roundup? Yep, we're using Roundup. Went and met with him, said, listen, I got people that have alternatives. They got different ways of doing things that you can eliminate the use of that. Not interested. Okay? But interested in poisoning me and everybody else that lives all around that area, including patients fighting for their life with cancer. You're spraying a cancer-causing poison. I'm sorry. I have talked to too many scientists in the 7.5 years we've had this show on the air. What comes out of my mouth isn't like my thoughts. This is what they say. And so when I say that something like Roundup is cancer causing and one of the most dangerous things we could be exposed to, I have my reasons, and they're good ones. Those neonicotinoids that we talked about that they isolate a chemical in, the nicotine, is in there. It's in the pesticide. It actually addicts bees, so they keep wanting that fix. But those neonicotinoids, really serious. Dr. Lundgren said that even at half of 1 part per billion, and we have like vape pens that, are concentrated, and then they have artificial chemicals and flavors, but supposedly they're less toxic than cigarettes, which is like, I don't know how you measure that whole thing, but just goes to show you should be staying away from both of them. And as a dietitian and your host here, Elaine McFadden, I'm telling you, smoking cigarettes, not a good thing. Just get away from all that stuff. And you really should. There are organic choices out there. Go for those, especially when it comes to your marijuana products, whether you're using them for medicinal properties or just for recreational. You don't want these pesticides, these neonicotinoids, because Dr. Lundgren found that even at half the dose, we have 100% bee and butterfly death. And that's why when you go to Home Depot, when you go to Lowe's and these home improvement stores or nurseries, they're all spraying the pesticides. They have tags on there. And that's why Smart Health Talk and Blue Monarch Project we're going to be having a plant sale of nothing but organic, pesticide-free plants, milkweed plants, native varieties that are native to California. We'll have some tropical as well, but we will have the native plants, like at least probably 4 or 5 different native plants along with the tropical, and milkweed, because we used to have millions of monarch butterflies in the Inland Empire, but because of pesticide use, there's practically none left. Blue Monarch Project, our group here, raised and released hundreds of monarchs last year in the Loma Linda area, and we're hoping they're going to come back. But we have to have milkweed waiting for them. And so that's why we're bringing the plants in, everyone. We want to get this milkweed. We actually have a goal of 20,000 plants, everyone. I know it sounds crazy, but we think, we could plant 20,000 plants in 2018. But, we can't do this by ourselves. We need big-time help, and that is people in the community, first of all, standing up, because pesticides are the #1 enemy of monarchs and bees and all our beneficial insects. Not just insects, but birds, mammals. There are small mammals that actually are beneficial to us. And, we're attacking all of them with these pesticides. It's just really sick. We need to stop it, and that means around your house too. And why even expose your family to this stuff? Look for Richard Fagerland, F-A-V, I can't even spell, Richard, F-A-G-E-R-L-A-N-D, Fagerland, and he's the bug man. Find him on Facebook, and he'll answer any of your questions that you have. You're having a problem, put it to him. He's got a great book. If you buy the book for like $20, you get his help for as long as he's alive. So hopefully that's a long time. Anyway, we can do this without pesticides, bottom line. And why would we expose our families, our children, the teachers teaching our children, patients in the hospital, staff working with them, all the people that live around that whole area and support that business? None of us deserve to be poisoned, especially with cancer-causing toxins. And it has to stop. And I need people to stand up to this. I need your help. I need you to go to the BlueMonarchProject.com website, look under problem, local pesticide use, and keep checking back. I have some of the fact sheets, the pesticide fact sheets. You can look it up yourself. Type the active ingredient name and then ask for risks. So if it's Roundup, like glyphosate risks, and then that helps you find, outside of the manufacturer's fact sheets, which do have some really scary stuff because these are scary poisons. And there's all kinds of secret ingredients in there that many times are more toxic than the active ingredient. So we should be like really, really scared of this stuff. And we should be going, what can we do? What can we do to stop the use of all of these? We need to turn our communities into safe communities for our families and for the monarch and all the other butterflies and bees. And that's our goal with Blue Monarch Project. We're hoping that we're encouraging you right now to just get rid of those pesticides. There's places you can take toxic disposal. Don't even use them anymore. Just stop cold turkey. And that goes for other things too, like flea collars. Those things are so toxic that if your child touches the dog after you put the flea collar on, you can poison your child. Why are we poisoning our pets like this? Why would we put poison, that toxic of a poison, right next to their skin? Or put it in our carpet or on our furniture? And please, like if you're buying new furniture, make sure it doesn't have flame retardants on it. That stuff is like bad news. Really, really bad. And you have a choice. There are furniture makers that have stopped the stupid use of that again, it's the people that make the chemicals getting policies passed that forces manufacturers to do this stuff. That's why we got to be on top of it. And when you tune in to Smart Health Talk, that's the kind of thing that starts happening. If you listen to our podcast, which you can find on KCAA, we got our iHeartRadio, right, Brandon? We got that going on.
Yep.
And then, like, when people, they just go there and they just type in, like, Smart Health Talk or KCAA Radio, and they find podcasts.
Yeah, that'll work.
Easy. That's all it takes, right?
Yep.
Simple, everybody. All right, so I hope you're going to go and check out what pesticides are being used, and then check back, because I'll be putting more fact sheets on there, and I'm going to put more spreadsheets for other areas around our Inland Empire here. And the thing is, we just have to get educated. We have to know what's really going on. Then we start problem solving. Then we start going, hey, wait a minute, can we do this a different way? Can we do this a better way? And then we do a little research and we go, hey, why don't we try this? And then guess what? It works. And we don't even have to keep doing things the old way. We have entire Australia, these neonicotinoids that are killing our bees and butterflies. The whole country of Australia just said no more. Germany, people came out in groves and marched against neonicotinoids. We have good news because the EU, after they allowed glyphosate another 5 years, they have a new council that is studying the original council and how they make decisions, because people feel that that whole thing wasn't done right. And we have if you tune in too, you'll see we have a milkweed plant right here, and we're very excited that we have some new caterpillars at home. Pretty excited about that, considering just how crazy this weather has been. And did have a monarch visit our yard and lay some more eggs just a couple of days ago, so that was a nice surprise. And our milkweed is growing really good at our house, and we want everyone to have some milkweed, because you know what happens? They starve because we don't have the milkweed. And it's pesticides and lack of milkweed are the two things that made our monarchs go away. And it used to be so cool, everybody. Oh my gosh, they would like cover entire cars. Wouldn't you love it if you're outside and all of a sudden a monarch comes and lands on your nose or your lips or your hair? I mean, they're so much fun. They're so sweet, and they just respond to you even though they don't understand and all that. But if you're happy, they're happy, and they show it, and it's just kind of rewarding, especially when you let them go and watch them fly for the first time after you put all this work into it, and then you actually see them fly away. And I tell you, it's so exciting. And just to even find a caterpillar on your milkweed, and it's so much fun to have your kids experience the whole process of the monarch, going through all the different stages from caterpillar to chrysalis to emerging as this butterfly, and you're just like, whoa, like what just happened there? How did that caterpillar turn into a butterfly? And then it opens up the world of science, which is what we're about. That's right. And did you download those MP3s?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well, we can at least play the one as we're leaving here in a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to quick go over these products that I have right here in front of me, because this is like flu fighters. That's right, flu fighters. So trying to come up with some original things around here every once in a while, a few laughs, because some of this stuff gets pretty depressing. But that's okay, because we're together, right? We're united together, and we're all about making this country better for Americans, putting Americans first, because you know what, when we start doing that, everything else is going to really start falling into place. Okay, so what do I got here? I got the tart cherry juice, and trust me, a lot of athletes use this. This stuff is packed full of antioxidants, and what I love to do is take my fire cider here, and I got the big 64 ounce, which got me half the cost when I bought the big one on Amazon. And I mix this, I got the unsweetened, and I mix it with my own honey that I get from a local beekeeper, and it's raw organic honey, and I mix that with the unsweetened, but you can get the honey already in it if you want to do that. And then after I mix the two and kind of let them ferment for like a 24-hour period, the honey and the apple cider, I mix it in my tart cherry juice. And that's a good shot, man. You just get that fire cider, some of the honey, and some cherry juice, and just get that down, and it actually is really good. And it's hard to get apple cider vinegar down. A lot of us know it's good for us. Another way to get apple cider vinegar down is the Bragg drink. The apple cider vinegar and the grape one is my favorite. BioK. All these products are coming out like they have probiotics. Many times they're not necessarily active bacteria, but BioK, 50 billion in one shot. I tell you, get doing that, and you got to have lots of warriors fighting for you. And garlic is always good. Just roast it up a little bit and eat it. Eat the whole bowl. Okay, let's go out and let's hear about our plant sale. Go ahead and play that, and thanks everyone for tuning in. If you love gardening, beautiful flowers, helping butterflies, bees, and other beneficial insects and birds, then you need to come to the Blue Monarch Project Organic Plant Sale, where you can purchase plants free of pesticides that kill butterflies and bees. Plants sold at most home improvement stores or nurseries are sprayed with pesticides that stay in the plant for months and kill at extremely small doses. Our Inland Empire used to be home to millions of monarch butterflies, but pesticide use has practically wiped them out. We know these same pesticides can be cancer-causing to us. So when we help the monarchs, we're also helping many other important living things in our community, including our families. KCAA's Smart Health Talk and Blue Monarch Project hope to bring the monarch butterflies back to the Inland Empire. Last year, Blue Monarch Project started raising and releasing hundreds of monarchs in the Loma Linda area, so we hope they'll come back. But if others don't plant butterfly weed, they'll starve, even if the caterpillars are born. They need the butterfly milkweed to survive. That is what is so awesome about our organic plant sale. We will have multiple butterfly weed varieties to choose from that are native to our area, and they're all drought resistant. Great prices, beautiful, healthy, pesticide-free plants, and an opportunity to bring back the monarch butterfly together. Pre-orders get a discount and ensures you get everything you want. So go to BlueMonarchProject.com to order and look at what we're going to have at the sale, and see you there.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. There's a new king of the road. Renault-Nissan became the world's biggest auto company last year, bumping Volkswagen out of the top spot after folding in Mitsubishi Motors sales into its final count of just over 10.5 million vehicles sold worldwide. Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and J.P. Morgan Chase teaming up to form an independent, nonprofit, low-cost healthcare companies just for their own U.S. workers. Warren Buffett calls skyrocketing healthcare costs a, quote, hungry tapeworm on the American economy. That sent shares of health insurers, drug makers, and related stocks sharply lower today. And with inflation fears jolting investors, the markets got pummeled. The Dow tumbling 362 points, the Nasdaq down 64. Home prices are still soaring because there's not enough homes on the market to meet demand. In November, average nationwide home prices up 6.2%. In the nation's cities, they rose by even more. Tom Busby, CNBC.
It's official. Newsmax TV is America's fastest-growing cable news channel. More than 50 million U.S. homes get Newsmax TV for the real news on the Trump revolution, with smart analysis from Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, David Horowitz, Bernie Carrick, Nancy Brinker, and the best conservative minds in America. Tune into Newsmax TV now on Dish 216, DirecTV 349, UVerse 1220, and Fios 615. If you don't get Newsmax TV, call your cable operator today. Tell them you want Newsmax TV.
Follow the world's best golfers at the 82nd Masters Tournament, April 2nd through the 8th on the tournament's official website, masters.com. Log on all week long to experience a tradition unlike any other, and follow the Masters on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Masters.com offers live, full-screen HD video coverage, including the Par 3 contest, plus real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute tournament news, and more. Masters.com, your official online source for the 2018 Masters.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Trump is just hours away from delivering his first State of the Union address. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders gave a preview this morning on the Today Show.
The president's going to talk about a number of things tonight. Certainly the economy will be front and center. We've had a historic year, record-breaking moments throughout the year, in large part due to the president's leadership on deregulation.
The big speech will happen before a joint session of Congress sometime after 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Massachusetts Congressman Joe Kennedy, the grandson of former Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, will give the Democratic response. A lawmaker from Arizona wants everyone attending tonight's State of the Union to have their identification checked. Jason Campidonia has details.
Representative Paul Gosar has asked Capitol Police to check those invited to watch President Trump and arrest any illegal immigrants. Several lawmakers say they are bringing DACA recipients and those who have been touched by immigration issues as their guests. Gosar also says security needs to be on the lookout for fake Social Security numbers. The Republican from Prescott will be bringing Arizona Secretary of State Michelle Regan as his guest. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
The House Intelligence Committee is okay with releasing a classified memo reportedly detailing abuses by FBI surveillance. President Trump now has 5 days to consider the panel's decision. The vote came down along party lines, with the Republican majority voting in favor of its release. Republicans also voted against releasing an opposing Democratic report on the same subject. Michigan officials hope a former governor can straighten things out at Michigan State University. A high-ranking official says former Governor John Engler will assume the university's reins as the fallout continues over the sexual assault case involving Dr. Larry Nassar. He is expected to be named president as early as tomorrow and will take over for former school president Luana Simon, who resigned last week. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
So,